Hello, my name is Aleksandra Marković, and I'm going to talk about the work on the Serbian extension of ELEXIS multilingual corpus, which contains semantic annotations and sense repositories. This corpus has parallel annotations in 10 European languages. As it is well known, one of the UNIDIVE tasks is to extend this corpus with new languages. Besides, the idea is to upgrade the annotation as to allow for interlinking multiword expression lexicon entries with their occurrences in corpora and to publish these resources as linked data. Our focus in this paper will be on multiword expressions and name entities, namely on their recognition in the Serbian sentence set and comparison with their annotation in other languages. Then we will take a look at the first steps in building the Serbian sense inventory and in the role multiword expressions and name entities have in it. Finally, we will mention our ideas on representing multiword expression lexicon entries as linguistic linked open data and unlinking them with their occurrences in corpus. Now, I will briefly mention what is done so far. As we presented in our poster in Naples, after the automatic translation of the English sentence set, we checked the translation, proofread it, and after that, the set was automatically tokenized, lemmatized, and part of speech tagged. At this moment, we are engaged in manual correction of all these automatic procedures. And now, let's turn to the tasks which are waiting to be done or finished, namely annotation of multiword expressions and name entities, then finishing the sense repository, and since it was not possible to use any existing dictionaries for this purpose, our choice is Serbian WordNet. After that, semantic and syntactic annotations will be done. On this slide, we can see the pipeline for the preparation of the Serbian sentence set. Green color boxes and the closed locker symbol stand for the finished tasks. Orange color and the open lock represent the work in progress, and lila boxes show tasks in the initial phase or those which are pending. Now, our attention will be focused on the notation of multiword expressions and name entities in ELEXIS WSD and in its Serbian extension. We will show that the number of multiword expressions and name entities in 10-language sentence set was not even, and the reason probably lies in the fact that different resources were used for their annotation. Since we decided to compare multiword expressions and name entities in the whole repository and to compare them with those retrieved in the Serbian sentence set, we automatically translated multiword expressions and name entities in each of 10 languages into Serbian as phrases, not word-to-word. Then we calculated the number of the same translations obtained by translating from different languages. Of course, sometimes happens that multiword expression in one language need not to be that kind of unit in another one. As we can see, Prime Minister in English in Serbian translation becomes one word. This figure represents the number of multiword expressions annotated in the WSD repository. The blue rows represent the number of unique lemmas, while the orange ones represent unique senses. As we can see, the number of multiword expressions in each of the languages in the WSD repository is different, probably due to different resources used for the annotation. There is a total of 1,710 multiword expressions in the whole repository. And in this slide, we see the figure, which shows that the aforementioned number of multiword expressions resulted in 1,412 translated multiword expressions. For example, there was only one multiword expression that appeared in 6 language sets, and it was International Expression Lingua Franca. There were 14 multiword expressions translated from 4 different languages, one of which is life expectancy, and no translation was obtained by translating from more than 6 languages. The number of annotated name entities in the repository is 606. The same color represent unique lemmas or unique senses. And as we can see, they were not systematically, name entities were not systematically annotated in languages. For example, Italian and Slovene have no name entities annotated. The total of 606 name entities resulted in the number of 526 translations. The most frequent name entity was Grčka, or Greece in English, translated from 4 languages. On the next slide, we can see that no translation was obtained by translating from more than 4 languages. And now, I will just make a short reference to tools and resources we used for the automatic annotation. The first is the dictionary of non-verbal multi-word expressions. The result is 529 annotations. Secondly, we used the system for the name entity recognition based on dictionaries and rules, which annotated around 2,000 annotations. On this slide, we can also see name entities by classes. Thirdly, we use the system for the recognition of verbal multi-word expressions based on dictionaries, rules, and inventory of verbal multi-word expressions annotated in the Serbian part of the Persin corpus release 1.3. Finally, a system for the recognition of adjectival and verbal similes was used, and it retrieved no simile at all, which we explained by the nature of this sentence set. The accuracy of multi-word expression and name entity recognition, recall, and precision will be determined after the assignment of senses to simple words and multi-word expressions. We expect that it will reveal some additional units of these kinds. This in turn will enable the enhancement of used resources. The initial comparison of multi-word expressions and name entities annotated in the WSD repository and in the Serbian sentence set was based on their automatic translation. I will mention the cases when matches were good, like for gross domestic product, a multi-word expression translated into Serbian from 4 languages. All of them appear in the same sentence. We see the number of that sentence in the slide, and all of them are annotated as multi-word expressions in those sets as well as in the Serbian sentence set. This multi-word expression in Danish, for example, is compound, and in Italian acronym is used instead. In some other cases, the translation was good and it was used in Serbian extension, but it was not annotated in it. And this was the case, for example, with natural selection. Some other languages also missed the annotation of this multi-word expression, and missed annotations are not uncommon in these sentence sets. And to conclude, having all this in mind, the overall results of the comparison are: out of 653 non-verbal multi-word expressions instances annotated in ELEXIS in Serbian extension, 116 verbal multi-word expression lemmas occur in at least one language set. Non-verbal lemmas. Out of 228 verbal multi-word expressions, 11 lemmas occur in at least one language set. And only 93 name entities annotated in Serbian sentence set were annotated as multi-word expression or a proper noun in WSD, which may be due to poor lemmatization, automatic translation, and linking of proper names. Now we will focus on the sense repository. Since there is no freely available digital descriptive dictionary of Serbian, we decided to base the sense repository on the Serbian WordNet. English Sense Repository, also based on Princeton WordNet, has around 60,000 entries. We aligned Princeton WordNet senses with the ELEXIS with English Sense Repository by comparing their definitions, and this yielded 30,703 matches. Sin sets from this subset were aligned with the Serbian WordNet, which contains around 25,000 sin sets, and we got around 6,000 matches. The subset missing from the list of 30,700 sin sets was compared with sentence annotations in English ELEXIS, which revealed that there is a gap of around 2,000 sin sets After the automatic translation of this list of synonyms and their definitions from the Princeton WordNet, we obtained a list of Serbian candidates and then expanded them using several resources. And now we are working on the post-editing list of synonym set candidates and their definitions. The analysis showed that from 437 multi-word expressions annotated in Serbian ELEXIS, 171 were found in Serbian WordNet. This table shows the total number of lemmas or literals per type. On the slide, we show the verbal multi-word expression with the highest number of meanings. That was the reflexive verb pojaviti se, which have different meanings: to appear, to come up, and so on. Now we will turn to the question of linking multi-word expression lexicon entries in lexicons with their instances in corpora. We are considering the use of linguistic linked open data, and two options are being under consideration, namely one being OntoLex Lemon with lexicog module and the other DMLX. OntoLex Lemon is widely used community standard for machine-readable lexical resources, and DMLX is a standard for structuring human-oriented dictionaries. This example shows how a lexical entry for multi-word expression fast food can be represented in RDF along with its translation here in Serbian, and how links between senses and Wikidata entries can be realized. Now we will mention the OntoLex FRAC vocabulary implements, which implements the lexicon corpus interface with corpus information to support corpus-driven lexicography and the inclusion of corpus attestations. For example, a sentence number 823 illustrates this. In this workshop, we have already heard something about this in the presentation of Barbo Mititello and others. Cross-lingual analysis of idiosyncratic constructions can be supported by publishing aligned and annotated corpus data as linked data, employing standards such as NIF and Conlulu RDF, which is a minimal NIF subset designed for compatibility with formats used in NLP. We believe that the sense repository should be published using OntoLex Lemon. The paper, which is mentioned in the slides, Stanković and others, gives us some ideas on leveraging linked data, NIF, and Conlulu for enhanced annotation in sentence-aligned parallel corpora. As we mentioned, this is the work in progress. Now we're preparing the sentence inventory for Serbian. Next steps are still pending: syntactic annotation and development of linguistic linked open data dictionary. And for the end, in our future research, we will pay special attention to the annotation of multi-word expressions and name entities in the Serbian extension of ELEXIS. We will coordinate our work with other researchers, especially those engaged in ELEXIS, MWE-UD and UNIDIVE. We will tend to make precise guidelines for distinguishing multi-word expressions from name entities and to explicate the differences between the notion of a multi-word expression in Serbian e-dictionaries, UNIDIVE, and WordNet. Among the future goals is the comparative analysis of multi-word expressions and name entities in ELEXIS multilingual set, both from the NLP and the linguistic point of view. And for the end, thank you for the listening.